This is another tutorial to look at the features of Google Read and Write. In this video, what we're going to look at is the features that focus specifically on reading assistance. So once I've got my text on my page, and I've got my toolbar all set up at the top of Google Docs, what I can do is I can use the play, pause, and stop buttons to control the reading that happens on the page, and I can actually get my Chromebook to read this back to me. Now, before you use these features, I would highly recommend going to the little 3 horizontal dots on the Google Read and Write toolbar and going into Settings. In Settings, you can choose from a variety of voices. I highly recommend English US female Ava or English US male Tom. I find those are the clearest, but it's personal preference. If you're going to get your Chromebook to read French text back to you, then I would highly recommend French Canadian female Emily. Let's stick with Ava for now. One important change you're going to want to do is reduce the speed from 50 down to about 25. This gets the Chromebook to read the text back to you at a more understandable and slower pace. Make sure there's a blue check mark beside continuous reading, and unless you want the Chromebook to read every word back to you as you type it, or every sentence back to you as you type it, I would leave these last 2 check marks empty. Once you've done that, click Save. Now, if I've got my cursor here at the end of my sentence, if I go to press play, it's not going to read this first sentence here. It'll skip down and it'll start reading my French sentences from before. If I'd like to start at the top, I click my cursor at the very beginning of the sentence I want, and I just press play. Now I can pause the reading, and I can also stop the reading altogether. You'll notice when the play feature is engaged, the only buttons that you'll be able to access are pause and stop. Everything else will be in ghost mode, so you won't be able to do anything with those. To get those back, you will need to press stop, and then you can continue on. If you're reading on a website, like my website here for Blue Whales, and you find some interesting information, you can click on the purple puzzle piece again, and you'll see that the menu pops up. Now, if I'm doing some research, or I'm just using a little bit of independent reading time in class, I can use these reading tools on websites as well. What I'll have to do is highlight the text I would like to read with my mouse, or I can just click on any word 3 times with my Chromebook touchpad, and you'll see the whole paragraph turns blue. And again, just press play. Pause and stop still function the same way they did in Google Docs. Another option, if the clicking is giving you a little bit of a hard time, or the mouse, it's just kind of hard to click on and highlight what you'd like, there's a feature right here called Hover Speech. Now, when I turn this on, as I move my mouse around the page, I just have to park it somewhere, and wherever I stop my mouse, I don't have to click anything. It'll just automatically start reading. So I click Hover Speech, and I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to park my mouse right here. And you can see that it starts reading. Now, the tricky thing with Hover Speech is I can press stop to turn it off, but you'll notice the Hover Speech button is still engaged, which means it's still on. So if you're going to use Hover Speech, make sure you turn it off again with another click. Another tool for reading that students find really handy to avoid distractions, especially when you're reading on a web page, is Screen Mask. Now, when I turn on the Screen Mask, you'll see I get a little spotlight on the words that I would like to read. This is handy if students are having a hard time losing their page or losing the line that they're on, rather. They can kind of scroll down the page one line at a time. I can use my touchscreen zoom on my Chromebook to zoom right in on the text, and it boxes out a lot of distracting things that might be on websites like videos and ads and things that are moving, buttons that might distract you away from what you're trying to read. And I'm just going to click the button again and it turns off. I hope that was helpful.